Hello, my name is AJ and this is my appeal for a better living wage. When I was young, I grew up in a single-parent household on the very low end of the middle class within an upper middle class district. The people I've met, experiences I've had, and friends that I've made all help to nurture my interest in how money can affect one's life. While I was lucky to have a family that supported me as much as they could, it was clear the disadvantages me and those like me had faced. When minimum wage was introduced, it was considered to be the minimum amount a worker would need in order to own a home and support a family. It's hard to believe in modern-day America we would consider such a thing a luxury that cashiers and retail workers don't deserve, simply because they aren't working higher levels of employment. As such, grown adults stuck in these dead ends are forgotten, and these high turnover rate jobs are just delegated for teenagers, because they don't need the money to buy a home or raise a family, typically. It's a heartbreaking thing to witness here in America, where wealth distribution has gone awry, and the middle and lower class citizens are poorer than ever. Minimum wage has stagnated against inflation, and CEOs of large companies and their shareholders continually receive the majority portions of profits, comparatively to the average United States worker. Although many people have forgotten, this discrepancy was the reason for many Wall Street protests centered around rallying for the rights of the 99% of wage earners, put forth by the Occupy Wall Street movement in August of 2011. The protests of this movement have since died off for the most part. However, the information learned and ideology instilled in many people has not died out. For context and numbers, in 1980 the pay ratio from large company CEOs to U.S. workers was 42-1. Jumping to 525-1 in 2000, and sitting at 347-1 in 2016. These booming numbers remained particularly unsettling after the Wall Street market crash revealed the shady practices of many business firms, even continuing after receiving bailouts. Conversely, the current federal minimum wage sits at $7.25 and has since July of 2009. Coming up on around 10 years of the same amount, non-conforming to inflation. Albeit some states have taken it amongst themselves to raise the minimum to match with their regional cost of living. Compared to 50 years ago when the federal minimum wage was introduced, the ratio of productivity to compensation of workers has continually tanked. If minimum wage had grown with the productivity of workers, it would be as high as $19.33. What if minimum wage had simply grown with the average growth since 2009? Well, it would sit at $11.62, still much higher than it is right now. The issue of having no disposable income becomes compounded when factored in with all the rising expenses of living in America. General insurance costs, especially relating to health care, rising cost of living in many urban and suburban areas, rising taxes on small businesses and individuals, counterbalancing tax breaks given to corporations. What possible solutions could there be for working-class families? Something akin to a universal basic income? Before that becomes a reality, the quickest solutions would come from unionization and elected officials coming together to create deals and legislation that won't impede the livelihoods of those struggling in our economy. It's easy to say once you're living comfortably that you got yours and others will be able to do so as well. But circumstance can be a real burden on hard work, especially when circumstances are becoming more and more difficult for lower-class citizens. Empathy towards others is a powerful thing our current economy is lacking, and it might just be the boost that it needs. Thank you, this has been me shaking my fist at the air for a little bit. I hope you got something out of it.